Welcome to Seek the Greatness. Welcome to Seek the Greatness, a channel that's all about applied self-investment. This is episode 2. My name is Kwaku. I'm your host, and I'm very, very excited to have the one and only John Mullinix in this bitch.
And I am happy and blessed to be here with my good friend Kwaku.
Awesome. Yes, let me introduce you to John Mullinix. He's an SEO specialist, certified in Google Analytics, SEM Rush. You know, I first met Johnny at Agora. Yeah. We worked with Agora. Both of us were the email marketing specialists. And, you know, I told him that I was really into like self-investment, self-improvement. And he was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm into that shit too. Read up on Napoleon Hill. And then I read about Napoleon Hill, and Napoleon Hill was just like black guy who talked to a lot of...
No, he wasn't a black guy.
He was? Wait, Napoleon Hill was
a white guy, but you read the black guy version of the book. That's what it was.
Really?
Yeah, there was like a black guy version of the book. Yeah. Because Andrew Carnegie would have never sat with a black guy. Black man, read my book. Nah, it just wouldn't happen.
That didn't happen. Oh, that's disappointing. Anyway, like, so... Yeah, but that's how we hooked up, because both of us were into like self-investment, following our dreams, just like moving towards our goals. And that's what this whole podcast is about. Just self-investment, doing what is really important to you. And every time my guests come on, I always ask them, how do you invest in yourself? So, and we want to hear that from Johnny's perspective.
Yeah. So, if that's the first question, that's awesome. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of self-teaching. I believe that, you know, a lot of teaching and self-teaching is kind of like a lost art. But I feel like it is making a comeback. But there was so much time that passed that, you know, people stopped educating themselves and relied on their teacher. When you look at people like Thomas Edison, Ben Franklin, Frederick Douglass, like... you know, Bill Gates, you just can go on and on and on about all these people that self-taught themselves all these things. And there's a word for it. It's autodidact, a person that has the skill to teach themselves. So I kind of took that to heart, and anything that I wanted to learn, no matter how easy or difficult it was, like I worked to learn it myself. So, you know what they say, if you want to hide some knowledge, put it in a book. And excuse my French, it's actually not even French, it's just fucking cussing. But that shit is the truth. You put shit in a book and people will not fucking know about it. But if you start to open the book and read the books, there's just so much knowledge. You think about a book and what it really is. It's just the shared human consciousness, basically written down in a form that you can digest. You're talking about people's thoughts. You're talking about people's emotions. You're talking about people's life lessons, things they spent years on, decades on, just researching, learning like day and night, giving it their all. And it's all in these books. And these books are not that expensive. $20 for somebody's whole life experience? Come on. Where are you going to get that from?
Yeah, no, exactly. Because like... And I feel like that's what has been happening to me lately. I've started reading a lot lately, because I want to get into copywriting. That is a skill that I want to learn because, well, I was going through some tough times, and then I realized, listen, no one's going to pay me shit to stand in the museum, you know, in the children's museum, just like standing out for 30 minutes a shift. Like, that's boring, and no one's going to, like, that's why I'm earning minimum wage. Like, I was going through this whole thing of like blaming other people's, like, why is my life this way? Just like, I don't want to fucking, this job fucking sucks. And then I realized you have to
take control of your own life.
You have to take control of your own life. And then, and like, you have to learn a skill because no one was going to pay me to stand around. So I was like, I got into HTML, CSS. I was reading books about that. That is a
big point. I almost want to stop you there just to emphasize, like, what you just said. Like, you had to learn a skill. So, like, you have to have financially valuable skills. You're only as valuable as what you can do for other people. Yes, you have to live your life in service of others. And when you live your life in service of others, only then can you reap the rewards and get rewards for yourself. Yeah. So the harder And the more difficult or the higher the level of the skill is, the more people that can't do it, right? So that creates supply and demand. There's not a lot of you. There's not a lot of people that can do that skill. So that means there's a great amount of people that need that skill. So when you start acquiring financially viable skills, that's when people start becoming interested in you and what you can do.
Yeah, that's why you have to start reading. You know, read a lot of fucking books. Like, it's all, the information is out there.
Fucking books.
Like, and that's one thing I've learned. I'm also learning that people try to put down millennials, like millennials don't work hard, but all that stuff.
Yo, all you old people, and I fucking said it, and I'm not like Gary Vaynerchuk or whatever the fuck his name is. I am not one of those, like, I'm the bad guy, and I'm going to tell you this. No, I think I'm actually one of the good guys, but, like, fuck old people sometimes, man. But not fuck old people, because I have a lot of good old people that I work with that are forward thinking, but there's some older people that just shit on millennials, and you got to stop it. One day you guys are going to be old in a nursing home and you're not going to be able to do shit, and the only people that are going to take care of you is the millennials. Yeah, we're immature. We get that. We think we know everything, but we really don't think we know everything. We just come off a little arrogant sometimes, but we're listening and we're learning, and eventually we'll be just as mature as you are.
Yeah, we're definitely like going through our own phases and just learning as we go. Like, and this is what I want to get back to. There are 3 things that you need to invest in yourself: opportunity, education, and support, right? Once you have those 3 things in your life, there is no stopping you.
Let me stop you. Opportunity, education, support. All right, let me jot that down. I like that. I'm going to take that with me.
Yeah, like opportunity, education, and support. Because that's the whole thing. Like, once you have those 3 things, you can invest in yourself, but not all other people have access to that. So, like, that's where this guilt comes from. Like, because I read the new Jim Crow. There are some people who are like, you know, people who are felons and like in prison, like, you know, they don't have that access. And people always say everyone can take control of their life, and that's really not the case unless you have those 3 things in your life. So from my perspective, in my situation,
I want to even say this though. There's a lot of educated felons out there, but the way the system is, a lot of them can't get jobs once they get out of prison. But that's a whole other thing. I don't want to get in that right now. But.
I mean, that's a whole other. But I'm saying, like, because from my perspective, like, education, opportunity, and support. These are the 3 things that I have in my life in abundance, and that I can definitely achieve the life that I want. So it doesn't matter, like, what I'm like, even though it doesn't matter my race or anything like that, even though as a black person, like, my skin is weaponized, but the fact is I still have the tools and everything I need to pursue the life that I want.
What do you mean by that? As a black person, your skin is weaponized. I'm also black too, for all the people out there that don't know. But I actually know what Kweku's talking about, but I want him to explain, because what he's saying is powerful. And I just want that to sink in. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, because, like, the fact that, you know, like, you navigate this world and then people are just, like, they sort of put you in the box or don't think you know as much as they do, like. And that's what I mean by, like, your skin being weaponized. You know, black people are viewed a certain way, you know, and especially with us.
Pizza?
That's the confusion.
Oh, man.
That's like, at the rate that where black men are getting killed in America, is just like, it's crazy, you know, like, definitely your skin is weaponized against you. And then there are also all these microaggressions that you experience. But even despite all the bullshit and the way, like, you're put in certain boxes, like, as long as you have those 3 things, like, as long as you're making people money, like, that shit doesn't matter. As long as you're solving problems and improving yourself, like, whatever, like, limitations that you believe that you have, it doesn't matter. Because I was on Instagram, and, you know, there was a Gary Vaynerchuk video, and then some guy was saying something like, well, I'm black, it's hard for me, I can't come across these opportunities. And I was like, I understand how you would feel that way, you know, like it seems like everyone is against you and one puts you off.
This is how I feel, and like, my personal experience is, like, it's just like this all around the world. Not everybody is born equal. They'll tell you everybody's born equal, every man's equal. That's fucking bullshit. Not everybody's born equal. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has the same deck of cards. But if you want to succeed, you got to learn how to fucking play your hand.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Life is a fucking poker game.
Exactly.
And you got to play your cards right. You can have the shittiest hand, and your probability of winning could be low. But, depending on your skill level, you could take that garbage hand and pretty much beat out everybody else's hand.
Yeah. Definitely one of the most important things that you can take away from this is definitely invest in a skill. Okay. Now, there are certain types of skills that we talked about, like
financially viable skills.
Skills that people are willing to pay you for. Okay. Yep. And the fact is, I've even acquired 3 skills that have made me a triple threat. That I've realized that if I put a lot of time, focus, and time into this, I can make a lot of money and financially invest in myself and earn the life that I want. So like I was getting into coding, front end web development, HTML, CSS, learning that, and that's the work that we did, just learning how to build email templates, landing pages, and all that stuff. And I went from minimum wage to making like 50,000, and then
and you know what, like what you said makes sense. I just want to give some insight on what Kweku's saying. So there's a book that I'm reading right now. It's called Deep Work. If you're into like learning how to focus and how to get to the next level with your work, Deep Work by Cal Newport. And he says pretty much in this next generation that's going to move forward, there's going to be 3 types of people that are going to succeed or acquire wealth and riches beyond everyone else. And it's people that know how to work with technology, mm-hmm. people that know how to build technology, and people that have the capital to invest in technology. So those are the 3 pillars right there mm-hmm. that, the future is standing on. You think about what's growing. Tech is always growing.
Yeah.
It's always growing. It's almost like being a doctor. You're always in need. People are always getting sick. Well, guess what? People are getting more dependent on their technology. And the technology front-facing looks simple, mm-hmm. looks simpler, but on the back end, it's a lot more complicated. And it's bad enough, especially in America, most of the high-end jobs are taken by people that are outside of the country. Why? Because there's nobody fucking smart enough in America. Not because Americans don't want the jobs. There are Americans that step up to the plate. There are Americans that have that level of knowledge and that level of thinking. But, the reason why there's like H1N1s and stuff like that in those visas is because they get these specialists and then they import them to work on these very, very difficult things. So, like, the more financially viable skills you have, the higher level thinking that you can perform, like, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, basically just like web development skills, anything in technology is building apps, HTML, CSS,
or
blockchain.
Knowing how to leverage that technology. You don't even have to know how to make it, but if you know how to use it and leverage it, that puts you into one of those 3 pillars as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for instance, you might not know anything about like how to build something. You might not know JavaScript, CSS, jQuery, JS Node, like Vanilla JS, like all these other different frameworks and languages, Ruby. But you might have an idea that's powerful, and that idea that you have can be designed by somebody that knows how to do that.
Exactly. Leveraging other people's skill and time.
That's the person that has the capital. So yes, leveraging other people's skills and times, but you do have to have the capital, or you have to have access to that capital to fund that idea. And then there's going to be people that can take that technology that was then created and then use it in ways that nobody else can use. Like, people that are using big data and creating, different things and lead engines and like algorithms, and people are taking those algorithms and making a lot of money with like, advertising and et cetera, et cetera. But I don't want to go too much off a tangent. I just wanted to elaborate on what Quick did say.
No, like I really appreciate that. Basically, like that's just another skill in the form of like technology. Another skill that I'm also picking up is like copywriting, using words to persuade people because I like writing, you know, and like I feel like that was my path, you know, because I've been blogging, and then I was like, okay, if I'm doing all those blogging things, how can I make sure that I'm using my content that adds value? And then I'm also trying to use the content on my blog to like pitch other products or other services. And, you know, and that's the path that's the path where I'm going through. It's very, very, it's fun. It's exciting. Yeah. And, you know,
and I think, like, I also know how to copyright. And I think copywriting is the one skill that no matter if you're in technology, business, or laying on your mom's couch, that is one skill that no matter what you do, you'll want to learn because it's persuasion. Yeah. When you write a letter, when you write an email.
Because we're selling all the time. We're always selling.
Yeah. Life is a stage. You know what I'm saying? You're always on stage. Might be a different stage, but you know, when you step out the door, it's a theater. And how you act and how you play, you know, is going to, you know, pretty much impact on how your audience views you, and your audience is the world.
Yeah, seriously. People, like, even when you meet someone on the street, people already assign values to you.
Oh, really? Yeah. People like, have schemas, man. Like, they got schemas. And that's just the way humans work, you know? Like, the way people or humans interpret things is, like, you know, they put things in the schema. And what schemas are is it's like subsets of things that go together. So, you know, that's how people identify it. That's how brains identify it. If people didn't have schemas, then it would take them a tremendous amount of time to evaluate anything because before they could know something, they would have to be able to compare something to something. And if you're looking at 1,000 different things at the same time and trying to say what this is and what that is and what's the difference, then you're going to spend all your time trying to figure out what something is. But if you take a group of things and say, oh, they all have the similarities, then you can effectively like categorize 1,000 things in 1 second. And that's what pretty much schemas are. And the bad thing about schemas, though, is schemas create stereotypes. And stereotypes, though sometimes true, I fucking love chicken. Not always true.
I like chicken because it's delicious. You know, this is what Dave Chappelle. I don't like chicken because I'm black.
But like, get this. Yeah. Everybody fucking loves chicken. Almost everybody loves chicken. White people love chicken. Black people love chicken. People in Dubai like chicken.
It's also an economical, like...
The whole world kind of loves chicken. I'm sure there's some people that don't like chicken. And,
vegans and
vegetarians.
You know,
but most people like chicken. Yeah. But for some reason, they're like, black people love chicken. Black. But that's another story. It's just schemas. And just things that are passed through time, just like black people love watermelon. Yeah. Now I like watermelon, but I know a lot of black people that don't like watermelon. But that just comes from like TV. You know, they used to have the watermelon with the guys with the black face and stuff like that. And the more you know about the history of everything, the more you know what's programmed and what goes into society. And then, you know, you can evaluate in that mind and choose like if you want to believe that or something. So that comes with deprogramming. But you can only deprogram yourself when you can step outside of yourself and then, you know, make your own decisions like, is this something I believe? This is something I really believe? Is this something I'm blindly believing in?
Yeah, exactly. You like, and that's another thing about self-investment. You must figure out yourself. You must know yourself and figure out your path. You know, and the thing is, like, I'm still figuring that out. But I know, like, I've come to the realization, like, hey, you know, when I was a child, I always had this was something that I said to my mom. Hey, Mom, one day I'm going to be richer than Bill Gates. It's not going to be true now, but I want to, like, come back to that kid and just be like, hey, you know, like, I'm still not richer than Bill Gates, but, like, we're doing way better than, like, that vision.
Shoot for the moon.
Seriously.
The sky. shoot for the stars, shoot past the moon.
The whole, like, the 9 to 5, all that, like, someone dictating my life, that's bullshit. Who can work for 40 hours a week, you know? I came to a decision where I was like,
I see this Tim Ferriss book right here.
I'm reading the 4-hour work week. I'm just like, Charlie, like, how can I make that happen?
Check this out. I want to share something powerful. It's funny that we have the Tim Ferriss book on here because I also read Tim Ferriss, but I'm not reading Tools of the Titan. I'm reading Tribes of Mentors. And it's funny because I've had coaches, I've had, people that have helped me, but I've never had mentors. But that's when I want to circle back. Books can be your mentor.
Exactly.
Now, if you can find a real mentor, that's great. That's amazing. But until you do, books can be your mentor.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We're in the informational age. There is no excuse not to know what you want to know.
Yeah, it comes back, if you have education, support,
and I'm not talking formal education. I'm just saying,
like, it's all out there on the internet. Books, like, serious. Even talking to you right now, I'm learning some new shit. You know what I'm saying? Education is all around you.
It is. I mean, and like I said, when I'm going back to Frederick Douglass and teaching yourself, like, you have the power. You think Thomas Edison, developed like a freaking light bulb because he asked some guy how to do it? No. He had 10,000. No, he had a lot of scientists working for him. But, nobody told Thomas Edison to hire some smart motherfuckers to do it for him and then just sell it. That was incredibly genius. But even still, it took them over 10,000 failures to create one thing. And the point of that is sometimes you just got to fail to learn. And that is important. So you can't be afraid of failure. There's been so many times in life that I've failed. There's been so many times in life where I felt the world was just caving into me. But guess what? Every single one of those times, no matter how hard, no matter how bad, no matter how deep, I stood back up. And every single time I learned something that made me stronger. And if you can do that, there's only so many times you can fail. You know what they say about an expert? An expert is somebody that made all the fucking mistakes. And that is a profound statement.
Exactly.
You think about it, like, right? When you're learning something new, you make a lot of fucking mistakes. You make a lot of mistakes. But let's say you made all the mistakes that was possible. You're not an all-knowing being of this industry or subject because you are smarter than everybody or more intellectually superior to everybody or more privileged than everybody. You just persevered longer.
Yeah, that's why you see all these ads on Facebook. Niggas are coming out. You're trying to sell you their shit like, I made all the mistakes. Buy my book.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, because they're like, listen, dog, you can spend 20 years fucking up, or you just can buy my course for $149, and you can learn all the mistakes I did and, like, jump 20 years. In 20 years, you'll be way ahead of them where I am.
Yeah.
Because I just gave you all the mistakes. And that's why people charge a premium for their seminars and their classes. You're paying for the you're paying for the expertise, but what you're really paying for is the intangible experience, that learned experience. And that's why there's actually a story. I think I told Kwaku about it before. There was like this guy that was an engineer, and there was a king, and this king had this huge ship. Mm-hmm. I'm talking like Titanic size, right? And it was ready to pull off the port, and it just didn't work. The shit was fucked up. So, he got all these guys together to try to fix it. None of these guys can fix the problem. They don't know what it is. Brought in world specialists. They finally said, all right, we're going to bring in this guy. He's the very, very, very best. Bring him into the engine room. This dude takes out a wrench, taps on it, doom, 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 starts the engine. And then, guess what? The guy says, how much? And this guy gives him this enormous amount of number. And he said, what? Why does it cost so much? Why is it so much money? It only took you 5 minutes. He said, that 5 minutes that I knew exactly what to figure out what was wrong and where to tap took 30 years to learn. So that is the power of experience, and that is the power of learning through experience. There's two ways you can learn. You can watch somebody else, and you can learn from them. That's the best way. Or you can make all the mistakes yourself and learn the hard way.
Yeah. And if you don't have time, if you're running out of time, I feel like I'm running out of time. Like,
we are running out of time. This 30-minute podcast is 25, 42. So you got any other questions you want to ask me, Kwaku?
Like, I think we touched on a lot of things. So let's just like do a quick review of summary.
I don't even remember everything that we covered.
No, but we'll talk about like, the way you invest in yourself is reading a lot of books. And the reason why you do that is because
reading and applying. So
reading and applying.
I want to make that note since we only have a little bit of time. It's not enough to just read what you're doing. You have to do it. So like a big thing for me is just live your life in harmony. You know what I'm saying? If you want to learn this skill, you have to work this skill. You have to utilize the skill. You have to surround yourself with people with this skill. You got to tell yourself, this is who I am and this is what I do and this is what you become. It's true. When you first start to do it, when you first try, you might not feel authentic. But the more you do it, the more you learn, the more you help other people, the more you're actually becoming what you said you are. And then sooner or later, you have people coming to your expertise and you're just telling them and you're talking and they're just like...
Yeah. So like read some books because you are channeling someone's consciousness, someone who's like all their experiences, new like perspectives that you would never know, and then you apply it.
And help people.
And then...
help people.
And then if you want to improve your life, learn the skill. So read the book, apply it, learn the skill. Like think about the things, learn the skills that are in supply and demand. Right now, we told you a big part of that was technology.
Yes. That's
a big part of our lives right now. So if that's something that, if you're looking to learn a new skill, improve your life and make sure that you're making more money, that's a skill you should definitely check that out in this sector. Just technology,
learning how to work with technology, or having the capital to invest in some form of technology will put you in one of the three pillars that is going to take off in this century.
Like just anything that's in supply and demand, and just put your focus and time into that. But it's all about skills. Skills pay the bills.
Skills pay the bills. Skills pay them bills.
And then
get the thrills. I get the chills when I think about the skills. Yeah.
Obviously, your skill is not.
No, it's not. And it's funny because I used to make music for a while until I just learned that I am just not skilled at this, no matter what I do.
But then on top of that, and then also the philosophy that comes like reading the books, learning the skill, and the philosophy is like the thing that we really want you to take away, your mindset. If you have these three things in your life, opportunity, education, and support, you can always invest in yourself. Your life can always improve.
I want to add one thing to that, because opportunity, because some people are going to be like, I don't have an opportunity. Opportunity is not what you have, it's what you create. Mm-hmm. And I think on that note, I'm going to go out. I want to say that one more time. Opportunity is not what you have. It's what you create. So if you want an opportunity, go out there and create it.
Exactly. That's what we're going to do tonight.
Yeah, and if you want to check out my blog, johnmullinix.net, that's JOHNMULLINIX.net.
I'll put all the notes.
And then
I'll put all the notes in all of that. I'll put all your stuff in the notes.
Seek the Greatness. Thank you for having me.
Yes, definitely go to seekthegreatness.com and subscribe to my list. Also, please go to johnmullinix.net. This guy is a beast in SEO. So if you're trying to get all your SEO marketing up and all that, check him out.
SEM, making money.
Yeah, seriously. This is why I wanted to get him on.
Not a rapper, but Kwaku's friend. We gotta go. All right. Have to get it in.
All right. SeekTheGreatness.com, JohnMullinix.net. This is Seek the Greatness. I love you all. And remember to seek the greatness within you. Peace.